Hi folks. Oh, I'm frustrated, hey. I just did a talk now which was probably one of the best talks I've done in, I don't know, weeks. And picked up the camera and to press stop, record, and I don't know what happened, but it didn't save. And I'm like, I fell to my knees and hit the ground actually out of deep frustration. You ask yourself, why do these things happen? It was really a gem of a talk, and I don't think I can recapture it. And I got to get going now. I have a flight to catch. That's why I'm so officially dressed as well. I got a meeting to go to. I tell you, it was such a really beautiful talk. It was putting into perspective about, I'm not going to be able to capture it, but it's basically about putting into perspective the chaos of the world today, and on the one side the chaos and the collective hive mind that's taken pretty much control of the psyche of humans on the planet, and has created this artificial, unreal world which is removed from authenticity, which does not encompass sacredness, beauty, or meaning, right? And it's a force to be reckoned with, basically, on the one hand, and on the other hand, there's pockets of individuals that are living, in truth and in beauty, and in meaning, okay, and in growth, and that. The one thing I explain is that I think that what's happening is that there's some kind of transformational going on in regards to this process of why it is this way. Like, on the one hand, it seems that this other matrix world, the collective hive mind, is completely based in ego, right, and identity and personality. And where on the other side, on the other hand, there's people that are dissolving ego, all right, and on not. I'm just so disappointed that I lost that talk, folks. I was just on it, and I was just on a roll. And it was such a timely message, for myself as well, because, what I was saying is that for myself, it's how important it is not to fall into the dream world, into the matrix world, into the collective mind, where you feel like your own life does not have a deep, real significance and meaning to it, right? How this world, the collective mind, tries to pull you in and inhabit you in it all the time, and I was saying, through that adversity for myself and for others, because we feel that pull, and because of that pull we feel the need to reject it, to remove ourselves from it, and that's an organic process. In other words, it's like the illusionary world has become so odious and unattractive for the authentic individual that they are being pushed aside. It's like a magnet that's opposing forces, and the world has this hive mind. It's created this modern world, this material world of ego and authenticity, that it's become so undesirable that for the individual is reaching into the imagination, is reaching into the spirit, into the soul, more so. It's because of this force, right? We see that time is of the essence. We've seen that it's crucial time now, right? And how necessary it is to be in one's truth, to be connected with the real beauty, not the false beauty, right? The real meaning, not the illusionary meaning. Okay, so we see this. We see it. It's like you know, I gave the analogy of the womb. You know, the child being repelled out of the womb because the space of the womb is not habitable for the child anymore. It's become inhospitable in a way, and so this world with this illusionary, egoic manifestation, right, and dream is pushing the individual at a faster rate into higher states of consciousness and awareness and self-growth, and letting go of the ego, right, to become non-identified with the world that we live in, all right, to not become grandiose but to be humble, not to become closed-hearted, to become open-hearted, not to become insensitive and desensitized, to become sensitive, right, and awake and aware, and not to fall into the illusion. So that's what I was saying, because essentially we're moving perhaps to another dimension where ego is not welcome, all right, or it cannot be maintained within the next dimension or the next chapter of evolutionary process, or this transformation that's going on, right? So the absolute necessity to not to dissolve ego as much as possible in a respectable way, right? And we do that at a very it's not an easy task to do. It's very hard. It's very painful at times. It's very obviously lonely at times. It's very confusing at times. We lose the picture of this, what's actually taking place. You know, we don't see the bigger picture, and so it is difficult the times that we live in. But it is a necessary time for us to be involved in. You know, I also mentioned the example of like if our ancestors, or you know, when we were more tribal and more connected to nature and with the spirits, and you know, the children had a place to play with one another, and there was no television, there was none of this, they treated the animals well, the air was still okay to breathe, the rivers you could still drink from, you know, the monkeys, there were enough trees for all the monkeys to climb from, you know, for miles on trees and whatever it was. There were no pesticides and herbicides and things like that. There was no radiation, right? There was no Facebooks and Twitter and again, these things aren't inherently bad, but they become a form of control and manipulation. So there wasn't any of that. There wasn't any schooling system. All right, it was just living. I'm imagining here, but I mean, it was a relationship that we once shared with one, a true deep relationship that we once shared with ourselves, with the divine, and with nature. Right, where we participated in psychedelics. All right, where we participated in dance, in ritual, right, in ceremony, okay, in gratitude and appreciation, all right. It was harmonious to our being, you know, and that's what I think. I mean, yes, there was obviously sickness, and there was also all other ailments as well, but there was meaning, and there was significance, and there was truth involved. You know, I would imagine so. And so our ancestors, or great, you know, grandparents, whatever it is, when they look at the times that we are living in now, they would be flabbergasted, and so they would want nothing to do with it. They would be like, you know, this is not for me, right? Because of the contrast of where they come from and what they know, all right? And so for ourselves, I'm saying, yes, okay, inherently we still feel that conscious and awake and aware folk, all right, can still feel that the contrast of this fabricated world, this machine-like world, as opposed to our true organic nature of being, living and existing with the planet, with Gaia, with one another, all right, with also a relationship with the future generations as well that aren't even here today, but the way we would operate was in mind. With everything we do, we'd be thinking about the future generations. So, you know, these are points that I was saying. And so, but for ourselves, the task weighs heavy, but the opportunities are are boundless or endless or infinite. I mean, it's unbelievable times, but there's a massive contrast, there's a massive duality going on. And the point being is that to try and stay within one's authenticity, within one's faith, within one's hope, right, within one's integrity, within one's divinity, all right, every day, to not fall into the sway and the pull of this force that wants to consume you, all right, that wants to absorb you into it, right, okay, into the illusion, into the script, into the movie. I'm so weary. Now the camera is going to, I mean the battery's also now. So weary of this, folks. You know, so not to be absorbed into it. So what am I saying? The illusion, the movie, the script. I mean, to know that yes, you're having to deal with superficial relationships. You're having to still work with ego to get along in the world today. You've got to put on the mask as well, but just as a tool, you know, just as a necessary tool to get by. All right, and which is uncomfortable, right? We got to be, at the same time we want to open our hearts, but at the same time we want to be very wary of having our hearts broken by the world around us and whatever it is. So we're dealing with this kind of relationship with the unconscious world daily, and it's a heavy task, okay? And again, one really needs to have one's own self-confidence, value, and faith that they are stronger than they know, right? They're directed in ways that they do not know, right? That are unseen, but it's there. That you know, and the future is bright. You know, and the future is bright, and it's worth the fight. It's worth the battle, right? It's worth the battle, and what is that battle? Is to not lose your value, to not lose what's beautiful and meaning to you, to not lose what's sacred to you, right? To not lose your relationship with nature and the divine and the magic and the mystery of the world, okay? And to keep in generally higher spirits, okay? To sort of alleviate the heaviness and the pull into the crowd, into the collective unconscious, right, into that almost abyss, into that illusion. So you got to be practicing daily what is authentic, what is true, what is beautiful, what is meaningful to you within every step that you take, to that degree that you can, that which is integrity, that to you, what is that alignment to your authentic self, right? And you need to have that, because the world will keep challenging you, it'll keep trying to knock you off your center, all right, and that's the energy at play here, right? But it's a necessary energy, so it seems, for the time that we are in. It's just the way that this natural process of transformation happens, of this metamorphosis happens, okay? It's a very photo finish time now, as Terence McKenna was saying, between the unconscious and the conscious, the untrue and the unreal to the true and the real, the authentic, right? And it's neck and neck, right? So it's a wild ride now, folks, and to not lose our perspective and place within it all is so absolutely vital, absolutely vital. Anyways, folks, as you can see, let me just switch off the camera. I don't think I'll recapture what I wanted to say. I spoke for about 20 minutes, and it was just in a beautiful flow. It was just all connecting so wonderfully, and it just didn't work out. Even now, when I switch off the camera, I got anticipation that it's not going to save, and I'm just going to be even more disappointed. All the battery's going to die, and then that's that. Alright, folks, so let me end off on that for now. I hope I recaptured some of the points I mentioned in my last talk. Take care. Be well.